Okay, and we're recording. Let's get this show on the road. And yeah, let's see how this class is going to work. So, first person in the class to get these bells from me in the next 5 minutes gets an A. Everyone else fails and go back to high school or something. Kidding, I'm kidding. Yeah, so I went all out on the costume. Hope you guys appreciate it. I did it with my other classes. Felt ridiculous, but in the interest of being fair to all my classes, once you dress up for one class, you have to dress up for the other one. So hello, hope you're all doing well. Let's get rid of this. And if I could embarrass myself like that, I'd really appreciate if you guys could also turn your cameras on so it feels a little bit more personal. Very small class, very tight group here. Oh, and it seems like you guys do have your cameras on, but for some reason I wasn't seeing you here. Let me make sure I can see you on the screen that's in front of me. Okay, all right, awesome. Wow, yes, okay, good, I'm seeing you guys. Awesome, I wasn't seeing you before. Great. Okay, awesome, let's do this. So, hello, welcome to Math 1108, Math for Business Finite. Let me share my screen. So that is what it's going to look like. So in our lectures, this is how it's going to look. I just wanted to show you the interface. So I'm using Microsoft OneNote, and I'll be able to write in here, and you'll be able to see me. And I will save a PDF of all the notes that I do in class and upload it so that the class can have access to it. I do recommend that you take your own notes and always stay engaged as much as possible, but as a backup, you can have my notes as a reference. So I just wanted to actually show you guys that. But for now, I think it might actually be better to instead show you my browser so we can get started. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing that okay. So this is my main website, which I will tell you about how to get there. In fact, I probably want to actually put that. Okay, so I put the link in the chat. So you can go there, bookmark the website, but I guess you don't have to be there going around while in class, because I'll be showing you what we're going to do. Okay, so this is Math 1108, and this is the class website. I'll be recording the videos here, obviously. Whenever I do, I will post them and you can access them here. You'll also be able to access the notes in the same location. So we are our section R05. So that's our lecture videos, notes are coming with it. And what I want to do for today is actually just go through the syllabus with you guys. As you can see, you can access the syllabus through that website, and a lot of these, all the links are hyperlinked, so it's super convenient. What we're doing today, don't want to start any new material by way of how the syllabus goes, but I just wanted to read through the syllabus, have everyone understand how the class is going to be run, what my expectations are, what we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to do, get everyone on the same page, on the same mission, and that is the goal for today. Tomorrow morning, we have our second lecture. And at that point, we'll actually jump into stuff. But for now, let's actually figure out how things are going to work. So I'm Jhevon. I'll be your instructor. That's my email, jsmith06@fordham.edu. Know what some of you are wondering, and it's true. Yes, I am the 306th J Smith at Fordham, believe it or not. Those are my office hours. I also take office hours by appointment. So if you can't make it those times, you can just email me and I will send you a Zoom link. So classes on Zoom, it's always going to be the same link that you used to get here today. And if you need to meet me in office hours, I will send you a Zoom link at that time. This is my main website and the class website is right there. That is the textbook we're going to be using. It's Finite Mathematics for Business, Economics, Life Sciences, and Social Sciences by Barnett, Ziegler, Bailene. You don't need a physical copy of the textbook. However, you will need to purchase online homework access because that's how the math department is doing it now. We have this kind of uniform approach for this class, and pretty much all the classes are using the same thing. So that's what we will be doing. You have to purchase access to the online homework system, and you'll actually get an e-textbook if you do that. So you don't actually need a physical textbook. And I'm seeing a smudge here, but I don't know. I think it's okay. And yeah, that's the math department website. Okay, usual disclaimer, things might have to change, especially in this class. Another thing that I wanted to make sure I would do is preemptively ask for your patience and understanding. There are a lot of things that I'll be doing in this class for the first time. Not the math. The math I've done. You're safe there. In terms of the lecture material, we're doing it. But in terms of the class structure, the activities I'll have you guys doing, a lot of it is going to be new, so it's not going to be perfect. It might take a while to get some things set up. So I ask for your patience and understanding in that regard. I will talk about all these things moving forward. But if any changes need to be made, I will inform you. And I'm never going to make a change that negatively affects student performance. So you don't have to worry about it. If I make a change, it's either going to keep things the same or make things easier potentially. But I will let you guys know. Website's very important. Calculators, you are going to need a calculator for this course. We're going to be doing a lot of financial mathematics, probability, statistics. So you'll need a scientific calculator that can do probability functions. So I'm talking factorials, combinations, permutations, exponentials, logarithms, that sort of thing. Course description, those are basically the topics that we're going to be covering. This is the usual grade chart, nothing special to see here, just as a guide for what the grades are. In general, I'll mostly be grading on a curve to some extent. So this is only for guidance, but it's going to be something like that is how you're going to get the grades. In terms of how your grade is actually broken down, so here are all the pieces. There are 5 items that you want to pay attention to. There's the online homework that you'll get through Pearson's MyLab, and I'll talk about that. We have 2 tests, which we'll be doing through Gradescope. They're non-cumulative. We have a project. So it's a group project. So I'm going to be putting you guys into groups, about 4 to 5 people each group. And you're going to do a project. I'll mention a little bit about that later. And at the end, you're going to have a presentation. Then there's going to be a final exam. The final exam is cumulative. The tests are not cumulative. Makeups are only allowed for the tests and the finals with a very good reason. I'm not going to give you any makeup for homework because I give you guys a cushion. If you score 90% or above on your homework, I'll give you the full 100%. So you're allowed to have technical issues 10% of the time or not do the homework 10% of the time. But I do recommend that you do all the homework and try your best. But there's a 10% cushion there, so I'm not going to make up homework or try to fix your grade if something goes wrong. You have 10% cushion. That is more than enough. And of course, the presentation, you can't make that up. If you don't show up for your team, you didn't show up for your team. But individual exams, we can talk about that for sure. Attendance, I'll be using your Zoom the Zoom list to take attendance. So show up. I'm not going to give credit for it. Normally I do when it's an in-person class, but I mean, it's online, so I'm not doing it. Okay, let's talk about the homeworks, tests, and project. So you are section R05, so you're right here in this line. Okay, so this is the code you will be using to register for the class. Now, when you go to the syllabus, which you can find via the link that I put in the chat, you'll be able to actually click on this. It's hyperlinked. And it will take you to instructions for how to register. This was prepared by someone who still thinks we're in 2020, but I believe the dates for the class are actually right. They say 2021. But follow these instructions and you will be able to sign up. And once you get all that sorted, and you sign up, you can go here to do your homework. There's a link on the class website to actually link to the homework system as well. But you can actually get to it directly from the syllabus also. So that's pretty much where homework is going to be. In terms of deadlines, so I haven't set up the homework deadlines yet, but I will soon. And pretty much here is how it's going to work. You're going to have two major deadlines as far as homework is concerned. So the homework for all topics related to test 1, I'm going to make all of those due at the same time, like the week prior to test 1. However, I highly recommend that you don't wait until the week prior to test 1 to do all the homework. You should be doing the homework relatively consistently, trying to keep up with the class. But if you have to miss a homework 1 week, do it as soon as possible. But you have a half of a semester to do half the homework, and then everything else is going to be due just before test 2. So you can do the homeworks whenever you like, as long as you get them done before the tests. But I would recommend that you just try to keep up with the homework consistently. It will, if you wait too long to reinforce ideas, it's not going to be great. Tests are going to be on Gradescope. You guys should have received an email from Gradescope inviting you to the class. There are going to be 2 tests, non-cumulative. The first test is going to be during midterms week. The second test is going to be on the last day of class. And I'll actually give you more specific dates and content later. The final exam is cumulative. The tests themselves are going to be an hour-ish long. The final will be about 2 hours-ish long. The final covers everything, but the tests don't, unless it's incidental, right? Sometimes things overlap just because, but I'm not specifically testing you. I'm testing you on different topics for test 1 and test 2. They are not cumulative. Dates for the test I'll give you later. The final date, I don't know yet. Pre-2020, Fordham needs to give us the final exam schedule way ahead of the beginning of the semester. Since 2020, that hasn't been happening, understandably. So at this point, it usually takes a few weeks into the semester before they update the final exam schedule. So as soon as I know when our final exam is, I will inform you. Let's talk about the project and the presentation. There will be a group project. I will put you into your groups. This will happen around midterms week. However, there will be opportunity to practice the skills that you will use in the project the whole semester. So I recommend that you do that, particularly when it comes to programming, learning Excel, learning Python, or RStudio. That is going to be something that you'd have to practice consistently. You're not just going to get it at the end by magic. And once you actually do the project, there's going to be a component where you're going to have to write it up. There's going to be, you're going to have to send me supporting documents, including something like a Python file or an R script file or something like that. And you will be presenting your project, and that's going to happen via Zoom. Your group and you will be given the position of co-hosts, and you can present. Here's where it's interesting. A part of, so one thing that's new that I didn't do before is the presentation part. Usually I just give students a project, they work on it. But this time I want to do a presentation. So that's my little experiment here. On top of that, I'm partnering with the business school. So the goal is to get you guys some upperclassmen mentors, maybe even MBAs, hopefully, where you would have someone to reach out to get advice on your project, to get advice on your presentation, to kind of help you polish things up, do it very nicely, get more entrenched in the department, and it'll be very good. As well as perhaps these same people, or maybe another group of people, however, not the person that you had as a mentor, I will actually have them sit in on your presentations and judge the presentations. So you will notice here, you have a presentation grade of 5%. For that, that's not me. You don't have to impress me for that. I'm pretty much going to have a panel of judges judge your presentation, and they'll give you a score, and I'll average your score and give you whatever proportion of 5% they feel is fair. Yeah. But things like that, if you haven't done it already, most of you are in the business school, if not all of you, activities like that you will be doing in the business school all the time, and some of it's a big deal. There are, I forgot what the tournament, is it a tournament or a cup? I forgot what it's called, but there are these huge debates where you have to present, and you can qualify for even a national presentation show-off thing. And it's a really big deal in the business school. And if you haven't done that, this class will actually give you a leg up on the competition, which is a part of why I'm changing things up this semester, especially with online classes. But really just in general, I really want to make the class more useful and applicable in your real life. I found that students who, if you're not a math major or physics major, or you're not in engineering or one of those quantitative sciences, math class is just something that you get through, never use it again in your life. You're just like, I'm just trying to pass and I'm just trying to survive, man. Right? So I don't want that to be the case. I don't want that to be this class. I want this class to be useful. I want this class to make you better, smarter, stronger. You can take what you learn in this class, you can go out in the world and you can use it. You can use it in a presentation, in a meeting, in a conference, in an interview. You can do your own programming. You would understand technology better. And just overall being more useful. The plan is for you to get a lot out of this class. And for me, it's not about just showing up to give you a grade and collecting a paycheck. And hopefully it's not like that for you for similar reasons. Hopefully you're here and you're going to want to make the best of it. Even if you didn't intend to, hopefully now that I'm talking about this, you will change your mind. And I'd really like us to work together to make this a really awesome and beneficial experience. And that is also why I wanted to include a programming component to the project this semester. So as business majors, you guys will have classes where you're going to use Excel. You're probably already in classes where you're using Excel. You're going to be sick of Excel. You're going to know how to use Excel. And I'll show you some things in Excel. But I want you guys to also learn something more badass than Excel. You know, so Python and R, very popular programming languages where it's at. R is mostly used for data science, statistics, probability, regression analysis. Python can be used for all those things, but it's actually much broader. You can use it for a lot more things. And I see there is chat. Did you go to the link that I pasted? Oh, did you come in late? Because maybe you're missing the link. Hold on. Let me paste it again. So if you go to that link, you scroll down a little bit, you'll see a link to the syllabus, which is what I'm looking at right now. Okay, cool. Yeah, Python is a lot more general, and you have a choice of what you want to do depending on where you want to go in your future. Especially if you're thinking of data analytics or something like that. R might be nice. Personally, I prefer Python. I think it's a much more forgiving language and it's nicer to code in. But if R is your thing, I'm totally fine with you guys using it. Of course, if you using R would have to be a group decision versus Python. So hopefully you guys can, my tablet here turned off. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully you guys can actually decide on something there. Now, something that some of you might actually get a little bit annoyed or angry about, but I'm going to stand by my decision. So I sent you guys emails with instructions and asked you to download Python and Anaconda and install a programming environment on your computers. Hopefully you guys tried that. I'll be asking about that later. But there was a much easier way to accomplish the same thing. And I'm going to tell you about it. And if you did what I asked, you can abandon that if you want and do that. I do stand by asking you to actually install it on your computer. I think it's a good experience to have. As some of you have probably realized, the act of trying to install an environment on your computer in order to start programming is in itself kind of like a programming challenge. Right? There's so many things, like I have to get Python over here and Anaconda over here, and I have to install this before that, and then connect these two, and I have to come with a command line, and I have to, right? It's like you're solving a problem just to install the thing. I think it's very beneficial for you to actually go through that experience. So if you did it already, congratulations, kudos. If you didn't, I would still recommend that you do it despite what I'm about to show you. However, there is something called Google Collab, which allows you to do programming online, and it's linked to here in the syllabus. So it's collab.research.google.com, and you can actually find Python. Oh, I have some old scripts here. Maybe I'll just show you what it looks like. So let me move this picture out of the way. Come on. Okay, they're reloaded. My computer is not the best. Whenever I'm running Zoom, everything else slows down. So here is what it might look like to code in Python. This is what's called a Jupyter notebook, which I gave you instructions on how to install. You can actually programming R in a very similarly looking environment. You can add coding text box here, where you can actually type in code to actually run it. You can delete it like that, or you can enter text. So I can enter another text. Hello world, look at this math. And you can do LaTeX. So I already typed a couple integrals, so maybe I should type something else just for fun. So what I'm typing in now is what's called LaTeX. It's a markup language, and pretty much what it does is it takes the code that I'm typing and writes it in nice math font. So now you just see, I literally typed that picture just now. So I sent you also some instructions and documents on setting LaTeX up, but that allows you to do stuff like this, write very nice looking things. So you can explain what your program is doing. You can also comment on your program within the coding text box, or you can explain what's going on outside of the coding text box. Then you'd be able to like even download this and save this file and send it to me as a supporting document for your project. But your project is going to have a separate component where you have to type things up, put nice pictures and graphs in it, stuff like that. So yeah, but you can do all that online. So don't be mad at me because it was literally one click away. But I really do think the experience of actually going through the effort of figuring out how to, I shouldn't have closed that. Go back. How to install a programming language is useful. And like I said, this class is about helping you guys become a better versions of yourselves and teaching you useful skills. Just figuring out how to get a bunch of components to work together is a useful skill. Here we are in the syllabus again. Picture. Yeah, so I still would recommend that you learn to install Python on your computer, even though you can literally use Google Colab and it's a click away. And in the future, whether you want to use the Python from your computer or from Google Colab, I don't particularly care, as long as you save it in the format that I wanted. Okay, so I think that's all I want to say about that. So I encourage you to do it. Go through some tutorials if you haven't already. Just start getting used to this whole programming game. It will really increase the possibilities in your life. Things that you wouldn't even thought were possible, or things that you didn't even think you could do. Having a programming background is going to allow you to achieve those things. And come on, business and technology. You can really, business is about relationships, a lot of it, but you can enhance those relationships with technology. So and you have a better relationship with technology if you have programming skills. So I really think it's going to be beneficial. And so, this is you with programming skills. So be sure to do that. Let's move on. Contact. When necessary, I'll of course be contacting you with important information. Make sure that you can get contacted by me through various means. I'll talk about some of those. So at this point, there are 4 ways that I actually tried to reach out to the class. So I'm going to actually check which of those ways actually worked. So I sent emails from my personal email. I sent an announcement blast through Blackboard. I sent an email from Jupyter Grades, and I sent an email from Gradescope. And I want to make sure that everyone is actually getting these. I'll check up on that later. But communication is super important. We're in a long distance class here, so you need to be able to reach me, and I need to be able to reach you. We need to be able to reach each other. So keep the communications open. That actually also goes for class. I highly encourage you to speak up, to engage, to always be, even more than you would normally do in person, slightly more than would make you comfortable. It's actually scary how beneficial that is. You can literally not change anything in your life, not how much you study, like change nothing. And only raise your hand and ask me questions in class, talk to me when we're in class, and you'll literally bump up your grade by a half a grade point or more just by doing that. Literally just talking in class, relevantly talking in class, will bring you from a B- to a B or a B+, and you literally change nothing else in your life. It's crazy. So I definitely recommend that you have your videos on, you engage, you talk, you put things in the chat if you want. I probably prefer you to say things audibly. By the way, give me a mic check, because I was having audio problems. So someone just audibly say something, make sure I can hear you.
Hello.
All right, Tommy, that's Tommy, right? Okay, yep. Good, I hear you. Okay, awesome. And I mean, someone asked about an access code for Pearson. Yes, it's in the syllabus. You'll see right here, the access code for Pearson for your section, it's right here, Smith 74325. And the instructions are here. So accessing the homework and all that stuff, it's in the syllabus. Everything you need to know and access is connected to the syllabus somehow. Where were we? I lost my train of thought. Okay, yeah, engage, very important. Feedback, also very important. Never feel like you giving me feedback is going to hurt your grade or anything. I really encourage feedback. As long as it's constructive, it's all good. So don't just be like, your teaching sucks. Be like, your teaching sucks because, you do this, I'd rather you do that. And let's work together to make this beneficial to all involved. That being said, everyone needs help sometimes. So here are some ways that you can get help. Of course, there's me. Reach out to me in office hours. The class website is also a useful resource. Let me go back and show you. So on the class website itself, if you scroll, again, you'll see links to access the homework. You'll see a link to view your grades. I want to set up a form that's not set up yet, but to ask questions, you should do that. And Gradescope to actually take your tests you would go here. We don't have quizzes. I'll remove that. But below that, I will be posting resources. Now, just a warning here. The resources posted below was for when I taught this a previous semester. The syllabus has since changed slightly, so not everything here is relevant. So I wanted to warn you of that. I think a lot of things are still helpful, which is why I leave the material here. But you should just know that before matrices and Markov chains was a part of this class, that's no longer the case. So if you look at any of these practice tests or things that I have here, anything that has to do with matrices, ignore it. Anything that has to do with Markov chains, ignore it. We no longer do that. The class now includes, instead of those two, some statistics. So you will not find statistics down here, but you should just be aware that you're responsible for statistics. I will be updating this as the semester goes on, but for now I have the old material here and some old documents all the way at the bottom, some old tests with solutions, previous semester's project, if you want to see what that looks like, some old documents that I handed out to my fall 2019 class. The probability examples are all still relevant. The counting Venn diagram, linear programming, all still relevant for the most part. This, not relevant. We're not doing matrices. And documents that I want to upload for you guys specifically, I'll upload in this section here when we update them. So the class website itself is a nice hub. You can get to your lecture videos, the syllabus, the homework, the grades, and tests, and resources to help you all in one spot. So the class website itself is an awesome resource. So definitely check that out. So yeah, that's another thing that is useful. Tutoring, I'm pretty sure the business school would have their own tutoring services, but I'm not privy to those. The math department offered online tutoring services last semester. So did the dean's office and a few other offices around campus. I don't know any particulars at the moment. I guess once these offices get set up and they hire their tutors and they have a schedule going, they'll send out some email blast to the faculty. And I'll let you guys know of any tutoring services that I find out about. In that same vein, if you guys find out about any tutoring that's open to all students or open to business students, you should let me know and I'll let the class know in turn. So if you can help me with information there, that would be good. A lot of websites here that I find will be super useful in a math class. I personally use Wolfram Alpha and Symbolab on the daily. Awesome sites. Don't forget your classmates. I'll be putting you guys in groups for your project. This is going to happen around midterms. And that's going to be your clique, your group. You can rely on these individuals. You're all going to be working on a team towards the same goal. Learn to rely on your classmates. Right now, you can get contact information from your classmates. And I'll try to find a way to facilitate that. The forum, I think, is going to help facilitate that once I have that set up. But your other classmates are an important resource. As I mentioned, our syllabus is new this semester, and all 1108 classes are following this standardized syllabus now. Before it wasn't so standardized. So there are resources on Blackboard that were developed by the people who developed this syllabus. So you might find those resources helpful. So you can find materials for this class. You can also find some pre-recorded lecture videos for this class in case you want a different perspective other than what I'm giving you in class. So you'd have a lot of material that you can access through your Blackboard. In general, I'm not going to be using Blackboard. I don't really like using Blackboard, but if you use Blackboard, you can actually go there and have some resources. Student Disability Services is open. If you have a disability that you think entitles you to extra accommodations on exams, please reach out to them. Usual class rules, pay attention, don't be on your cell phones or anything. Engage, I put that in all caps because of the online class. Probably more than you're comfortable with, very important for an online class. Have your cameras on, engage, make it feel personal, make it feel like you're having a discussion. It's going to be really good. You can put things in the chat. You can also audibly ask questions, at which point just jump in. and start talking. You say, excuse me, or hey, Jhevon, or whatever. I've been teaching math for over 10 years. I've never been in the situation where like everyone's tripping over each other to answer the question. No, pick me. Like it's never happened. So chances are there'll only be one or two people at a time who wants to actually say something out loud. So just go for it. You don't have to like raise your hand. Sometimes I'm not looking directly on the camera. I'm looking on my screen as I'm writing. So you might be raising your hand and I'm not going to see you. If you put it in the chat, I'll see the pop-up, or if you start talking, I'll hear you. So I'll just know to stop what I'm doing. But yeah, in general, engage. Academic integrity, very important. Read academic integrity policy. Don't cheat. For a lot of things, even though we're online, I am going to trust you guys, which a lot of my teacher friends think I'm silly, but I think it's very important that I can trust you guys. And a lot of things is just going to be the honor code. I'm not going to be watching you. So you are going to have the opportunity to do things that you shouldn't do. I am politely asking you not to do those things. This even happened last semester. Students cheat, they get caught. Like I can know when you're cheating, even if you don't realize that I can know. And it caused a headache for everyone. Because once I know that someone cheated, as an instructor, I can't actually just let it go. And given that 2020 was a horrible year, I tried to be very lenient with the cheaters and give them a chance to redeem themselves. But 2020 is gone, so don't let me catch you cheating. It's not going to be fun for you. It's not going to be fun for me. No one wants it. It's going to be a headache and more work for everyone. And it's not necessary, to be honest. Like, if you show up to class and you try, I do not see anyone failing this class. Worst case scenario, like the lowest grade I've ever given in this class, and it's not often, but if you want to know what the bottom is, it's a D, which is still a passing, right? And I guess from previous experiences, this class is smaller, so I don't know. 3 to 5% of the class gets a D, so most people get a C or higher. So you don't need to cheat to do well. And you don't have to fear failure. So don't think you have to sell yourself short. There's no floor to fall through, but you're the one who's going to set your ceiling. So give yourself high standards, meet those standards, do your best, and I'm going to trust you to do that. And as long as you do that, I think you will be fine. Here are the topics that we will be covering in the class. There are 18 topics. You will notice that test 1 shows up here, test 2 shows up here. The specific dates for the tests are here in red. The date for the final, I don't know. Like I said, I will let you guys know as long as it's decided. It's not a decision that I make. The entire school has to make it. The administration has to make it. The project and presentation due date, that's also approximate. Like I said, I have to kind of arrange schedules with people in the business school that I'm hoping to get as mentors for you guys, but it's going to be around the week of April 18th. I'll give you the projects around midterms, which is going to be mid-March, and you'll have about roughly until April 18th to get a project together, present it, all that stuff. So that's roughly, that's what we're going to do, and that's the rough timeline. I also included a calendar of some important events here. I do recommend that you check out the full academic calendar at this link. And yeah, that's all I have for today. So I just wanted you guys to kind of have an idea of what I want to do with this class. Hopefully you guys are on board. You want to get some good experience. You want to actually learn something useful in this class, and you can actually go out, change the world, change your life, and do all that stuff. And I think all that would be very nice. So right now, what I want to do is to just hold on. No, don't open. Okay, let me do that. In the meantime, I would, if any of you have any questions, concerns, comments, you can let me know. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to set up a poll, which. So any questions in the meantime, comments, concerns? Where did I put it? It seems when I created the poll for the other class, it didn't copy to this class. I don't want to create a whole poll all over again. Let's see if I can just copy it directly. Hmm. Doesn't seem possible, Captain. Can't do it, Captain. Okay. I'm gonna have to really type this all out again. Yeah, someone had a question? I heard someone's audio turned on. Don't be shy. Like I said, engagement is very important. Yeah, I don't think I can actually copy it while the meeting is in session. So I'll have to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna set up a poll because I want to get some data from you guys. Also, the email from Jupiter Grades or Jupiter Ed or something, whatever it's called these days, that was sent slightly before class. So you might have missed the email. So at this point, I'd like you guys to just pull up your email and check, did you see that email? Because I'm gonna need to know that you're receiving them.
What was on the email, Professor?
Which one are you referring to? Jupiter. It should say something like Jupiter Ed, and you should see a link that says, "Oh, click here to see your grades" or something like that. Jupiter, Jupiter. Not to be confused with Jupyter Notebook in Python, which has a Y instead of an I. What else? Okay, I think that's all I want to ask about. Okay. Share my screen with the syllabus in case anyone has a question on that, as well as let me try to launch that poll. Okay, all right. There, you should actually see a poll on the screen now, I believe. So if everyone could respond to that. But half the people have responded so far. I think there are 1 or 2 people absent. Okay, we have 100% of the vote. Exercise your rights. Okay, so you should be seeing the results of the polling. Okay, so everybody got the Jupyter email. Everybody got my personal email, Gradescope, and Blackboard. Most of you installed Python, and about a third of you actually went through some tutorials. So that's good. Kudos to you. I would still recommend the rest of you do it, even though I showed you a much easier way to access Python. I'd still recommend the experience of going through it, right? This is you after you install Python, right? So yeah, and try to just mess around with some stuff. Not anything that interests you, not even anything in particular. Recent events, right? To the moon. Anyone knows what I'm talking about? You can actually use Python to pull stock data from online, from Yahoo Finance, and you can analyze it. You can use it for all sorts of stuff. Analyze any data you want, any data you care about. Anytime you're accessing a lot of information, you want to make sense of it, you can use RStudio or Python. So just mess around with it, do whatever. Just get used to the environment. Get used to just doing stuff, and that'll be very beneficial. Okay, so yeah, so that's all I want to do for today. So were there any other questions, concerns, comments? Are we good? We know how things are going to work. We're all prepared.
Professor, I'm a little confused on what's the difference between Gradescope and Jupyter? Because I thought we could see are the tests and quizzes going on Gradescope, but our grades are
Right.
to Jupyter.
Right. So Jupyter is like your report card. Like all your grades are going to be there.
And our homework's on Pearson.
Homeworks are on Pearson. Yeah. I know it's a lot of different platforms, but under the circumstances, I couldn't find what platform that does everything. So instead of paying for multiple things, these are the things that I could get for free. So you guys won't have to pay for it. So on one hand, you pay for it by having to go through several platforms. But on the other hand, you can access all these platforms from the class website. So once you go there, just have your password saved. And from the class website, you can go anywhere. And if your password is saved, you'll just automatically go in. So I'd recommend doing something like that. But yeah, Gradescope is only for actually taking the quiz or the test. You'll take it on Gradescope. Jupyter, you could take tests on Jupyter, but the capabilities are much lower than on Gradescope. So I'd rather give you a test on Gradescope. But Jupyter is where all your grades will be. So you will know what's on my report card for you by looking at Jupyter. Yeah. Any other questions, concerns, comments? So yeah, I mean, we didn't really do anything today. I'll still upload this as a PDF just for you guys to experience where you would find the notes whenever I upload them. But that's it for today. Tomorrow, we're gonna start with this bad boy. I can't even write now. I haven't been writing for so long. Tomorrow. That's where we're gonna start. You can start to read ahead if you'd like. So you can ask some informed questions, but it all starts tomorrow morning. Thank you for your attention. Thanks for showing up. If there's nothing else, I guess we can sign off. So are we good? Yeah. Okay. All right. Have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good semester. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.